Do you ever find yourself hearing a voice in your head? Maybe a critical one, saying something like, you're just not good enough, or maybe you'll never quite amount to anything.
Those old tapes.
Exactly. And what if those words sound, well, maybe eerily similar to things you heard growing up from your parents?
Yeah.
If that resonates even a little bit, you are definitely not alone. And actually, here's something surprising. If you're a parent yourself now, you might be completely unknowingly echoing those same patterns with your own kids.
It's such a powerful and often really unseen legacy, isn't it? Welcome, everyone, to the Deep Dive.
Yeah, welcome.
Today, we're really going to get into a challenging but important subject,
Yeah.
what people call toxic parenting.
Right.
And let's be super clear right from the start. This isn't about pointing fingers. It's not about shame.
Yeah.
It's really about understanding. It's about finding a path to healing and, maybe most importantly, finding ways to move forward differently.
Because there's this core truth, isn't there? That unhealed wounds, they just have a way of echoing down the generations, sometimes getting even louder.
They really do.
So when we use that term, toxic parenting, what are we actually talking about? Because it's not always the obvious stuff people think of, is it?
No, absolutely not. That's a key point. What often gets missed is that it doesn't always look like, obvious physical abuse or really overt cruelty.
Right.
Often, it's incredibly subtle, almost invisible. And sometimes it can even be kind of culturally accepted, things people just do without thinking.
That's where it gets so tricky, so insidious. I mean, we're talking about something much more nuanced than just, say, shouting all the time. Can you give us some examples? Like, what might this actually look like day to day based on the research you looked at?
Sure. Think about constant criticism, that feeling that nothing you do is ever quite right instead of getting genuine encouragement.
Yeah, that drip, drip, drip of negativity.
Exactly. Or, that classic conditional love dynamic. I'll love you if you're good.
Yeah.
Or I'll be proud when you achieve X, Y, Z.
Ugh, yeah, earning love.
Right. Emotional neglect is another huge one. Just ignoring a child's feelings, dismissing their joy or their sadness. Like, it doesn't matter.
And it's not just what's said either, is it? It can be about actions or things that aren't done, things withheld.
Precisely. It definitely extends to manipulative behaviors, like using guilt as a tool for control. Or, deploying the silent treatment to punish someone.
That's a powerful one.
It is. And discipline in these kinds of environments might lean really heavily on fear or shame instead of actual guidance. Ultimately, it's any kind of consistent pattern, really, that makes a child feel deep down like they're a burden, or that just constantly chips away at their sense of worth, their emotional safety.
So it's the pattern, the consistency, not just one bad day.
That's the key. It's the consistent pattern of interactions that often, totally unintentionally, diminishes a child's sense of self-worth and their potential for healthy development.
And here's the part that's, well, frankly, kind of heartbreaking. Often, the parents doing these things, they might be completely unaware.
Yeah, that's often the case.
They're just repeating what they experienced themselves, right? But for the child on the receiving end, they internalize it all, those words, those feelings. They start to believe it's the truth about who they are. And they carry that shame sometimes, like forever. It's like this invisible backpack full of emotional weight.
That unconscious repetition is, it's really tragic when you think about it. And it brings us to a really critical question. What is the long-term impact? What happens to a child's future when they grow up in this kind of environment?
Yeah.
And the research here is incredibly clear. We're talking studies from places like Harvard, Yale, lots of psychological research. It consistently shows that kids raised with these toxic patterns often face immense struggles as adults.
And these aren't small struggles, are they? We're talking about things like really deep-seated low self-esteem. Chronic anxiety, maybe, depression, or just this general feeling of being emotionally off balance.
Yes. And often a profound fear of failure or an aversion to any kind of criticism.
Right.
And sometimes, interestingly, even a fear of success, because success might bring more attention, more scrutiny.
That's counterintuitive, but makes sense.
It does. They might find themselves in unhealthy relationships, based on fear or control. Or they become chronic people pleasers, just unable to set boundaries.
Or the opposite, right? Completely shut down emotionally.
Exactly, shut down. And tragically, like you touched on earlier, they're often at a higher risk of repeating that same toxic cycle themselves when they become parents.
So the cycle continues.
And what's really fascinating, and something people don't often talk about, is the actual physiological impact. The impact on the body.
You mean like physical changes?
Yeah, exactly. Brain scans have actually shown that continuous emotional stress during childhood, things like constant yelling, emotional neglect, not having that secure attachment strip, it can physically alter the structure of the brain, specifically areas like the amygdala.
Which is like the fear center.
That's right, a key part of our fear control center. And it can also impact the prefrontal cortex.
And that's for decision-making, empathy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Critical for complex decision-making, emotional regulation, empathy. Think about that. If these fundamental brain regions are structurally changed by childhood stress,
Wow.
it's not just about feeling bad or emotional pain. It literally shapes how we process the world, how we react to stress, make choices, connect with other people.
So it's not just a metaphor then saying words can wound. They can literally, physically reshape our brains,
Yes.
creating this kind of hardwired reactivity that might just perpetuate the very patterns we experience. That's a profound biological legacy.
Precisely. The insight here is how deeply physical, how biological a legacy of emotional pain really is. It impacts how we're wired.
Okay. So given all of this, what does this mean for us, for the listeners, especially those of us who are parents right now? If you're hearing this and, a little part of you is wondering, oh God, could I be doing some of this without fully realizing it?
Yeah.
The research we looked into actually gives us some pretty clear signs to look for. There seem to be about 5 key indicators that you might be unconsciously repeating patterns you experienced yourself.
Yeah, 5 key things seem to pop up again and again. The first one is reacting really intensely when your child makes a mistake.
Okay.
And often, this isn't really about anger at the mistake itself. It's driven by this deep-seated fear you have that they'll fail. Maybe echoing fears you had about yourself. It's a reaction that feels disproportionate.
Got it. Fear-based reaction. What's the second one?
Second, it could be shaming or mocking your child. Maybe tell yourself it's tough love, building character.
Right, that justification.
But really, it's about diminishing them, making them feel small.
Okay. And a third sign. This one feels like it could be really challenging for a lot of people.
It really can be. It's having difficulty apologizing. Genuinely saying, I'm sorry. This often comes from the fact that maybe your own parents rarely, or perhaps never, apologize to you. So it just feels unnatural, or maybe even like a sign of weakness.
It wasn't modeled. Okay, number 4.
Fourth is that relentless pursuit of perfection. Expecting flawlessness from your child, and really struggling to accept their mistakes, whether they're big or small.
That pressure.
Yeah, immense pressure. And finally, the fifth one. This can be really isolating for a child, becoming emotionally shut down when your child expresses big emotions.
Like anger, sadness, even big joy.
Exactly. Instead of meeting them with empathy, you kind of pull away. You shut down yourself.
Right.
Now, it's so critical to understand this. If any of these resonate with you, it does not make you a bad parent.
That's really important.
It really is. The underlying reason, more often than not, is that your own inner child, that part of you still holding on to past hurts, is still hurting. These unhealed wounds make your parenting reactive. It's like a defense mechanism kicking in, rather than a conscious, responsive choice to actually cause harm.
That distinction feels huge. Reactive versus responsive. Defense mechanism, not deliberate intention. Okay, so if we recognize ourselves in some of these patterns, how do we start to untangle it all? How do we break a cycle that feels so ingrained? Where's the starting point?
Well, the sources we looked at are incredibly clear on this. The crucial starting point absolutely begins with healing yourself.
Yourself first.
Yes. It's not just about trying to fix your child or promising to do better for them. It's an inside-out job. You really can't give what you don't have inside yourself.
Okay, so it starts with us. Where do we actually begin that personal healing journey? What's like the very first actionable step someone could take?
The very first step, and it takes courage, is to accept your childhood truth.
Accept the truth. What does that look like?
It means really, honestly, maybe even bravely, writing down what actually hurt you, what you didn't receive emotionally growing up, the gaps.
Naming it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Confronting this truth isn't a weakness. Actually, it's incredibly liberating. It's like finally putting a name to that invisible weight you've been carrying. And just naming it, you find the first step towards maybe setting it down.
Okay. Acknowledge the past pain. Name it. Then what?
Yeah.
How do we move from just accepting it to actually shifting things?
Then the next step is about actively reparenting yourself.
Reparenting yourself. Okay, that sounds potentially a bit abstract. How do we do that practically?
It's actually very practical. It means consciously talking to your inner child, that younger part of you, Using the words you always wished your own parents had used.
Like what kind of words?
Simple, powerful things like, you were loved, you don't need to earn it.
Yeah.
Or, I see you, your feelings are valid. It's about deliberately cultivating that kind, compassionate, internal voice for yourself.
Okay, developing self-compassion. What about in the heat of the moment? You know, when our child does something, says something, and it just hits that old wound, that reactive place you mentioned.
Right, because that will happen.
Mm.
That's where the next step is crucial. Pause, think, then respond.
Pause, think, respond.
Yep. When your child triggers that strong reaction in you, before you say anything, before you take a breath and ask yourself, okay, hold on. Is this really about them right now? Or is this about me and some old unhealed thing?
Checking in with yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then make a conscious choice to respond thoughtfully, intentionally, rather than just reacting impulsively from that place of old pain.
That takes practice, I imagine.
Oh, absolutely. It's a skill.
Yeah.
And building on that idea of honest self-reflection, what's another really critical step? Something that fosters that healthy, emotionally safe environment we want. It leads right into the next one. Apologize when you make mistakes.
Honing it.
Yes. This builds huge emotional safety for your child. A simple, sincere, you know what, I'm sorry, I yelled earlier and that wasn't right of me. That can heal profound emotional ruptures. It teaches them humility, it models how to repair relationships, and it shows your child that they don't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
And neither do you. It's okay to mess up and fix it.
That's so powerful. Modeling repair. Okay, and what's the bigger picture goal? In terms of our daily interactions, what should be the foundation?
The fifth step really ties it together.
Yeah.
Consciously choose connection over control.
Connection over control.
Yes, connection is like the fertile soil where confidence and character actually grow. When you have that deep connection, rules make sense. They're seen as guidance within a safe relationship.
Right.
But rules without that relationship,
Why?
that often leads to either rebellion or just fear-based compliance, because the child is only obeying out of external pressure, not any internal desire to cooperate or learn.
Connection is the foundation. Got it. And finally, what if it just feels like too much? What if these patterns feel so deep, so hard to shift on our own?
That is a very real possibility.
Yeah.
And that's where the final and absolutely crucial step comes in. Seek help when you need it.
Don't go it alone.
Please don't. Reaching out for therapy, finding parenting coaches, joining support groups, this is not a sign of weakness or shame, not at all. It is actually one of the most powerful acts of courage a parent can possibly undertake.
Yeah.
It shows you are truly committed to creating a better path, not just for yourself, but really for your child's entire future.
So ultimately, listener, you didn't choose your own childhood, did you? You didn't get to pick your parents or the patterns you might have inherited. But here's the really empowering truth. You absolutely can choose your child's childhood.
That power is yours now.
You have this profound, this transformative power to end the cycle right here, right now, with you.
You really can raise a child who won't need to spend their adulthood recovering from their childhood. Instead, they can actually thrive because of it. You can build a different legacy, one of genuine love, real emotional safety, and deep strength.
You are not defined by your past. You can be a pattern breaker. You are the voice your child needs to hear. That voice that affirms them, empowers them, loves them unconditionally.
And maybe here's a final thought, something provocative to just carry with you.
Yeah.
It is never, ever too late to become the parent you always needed yourself. And in doing that, in healing yourself and showing up differently, you give your child the greatest gift imaginable. Freedom.
Yeah.
Freedom from inheriting your pain and the real ability to truly thrive.